Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chocolate Hazelnut Podcast. I'm Chocolate,
I'm Hazelnut.
and this is our show. Today, we're going to read an article and see what your opinions are. We're going to share ours, but we want to hear yours. Please leave comments down below. And as always, don't forget to
like, comment, share, and subscribe.
All right, let's get into it. Hazelnut, you want to read it?
Yeah, all right. So today we have an article that we're going to be discussing from the daily.com. And I'm just going to jump right in. It's about tipping with Uber, but whatever. So it goes, blah, blah. A customer says that she tipped $4 on a $17 Uber Eats order and couldn't get a driver to pick it up in a now viral TikTok, sparking debate about tipping expectations on delivery apps. In the video posted by TikToker Side, SYD, whatever, on October 10th, she references the viral table of shame of Uber Eats orders that never get picked up due to a low or missing tip. I ordered my food a really long time ago and it still doesn't have a driver, so I'm worried that it will end up on that shelf of bad tippers, she said in the clip. She continues that her total with fees and taxes was $17, saying that she even rounded up the tip to $4. I'm gathering that on this app that is a bad tip. The app was even suggesting that I tip $8 to $10, she said. I was a server for like 10 years. On what planet is a 50% plus tip like a standard tip? Why would I tip almost the equal cost of the entire meal? The video has reached over 40,400 views as of Tuesday, with commenters debating whether the app's 50% tip recommendation is necessary. Several delivery drivers weighed in on how much tip is needed for them to accept an order. I drive for DoorDash. It depends on how many miles the person is away from the restaurant. I usually do $2 a mile. Even although no tip, no trip, one user wrote. Delivery is a luxury service. Drivers put miles on their car and use their own gas. When I was delivering, is the tip if they miswrote. If the tip wasn't at least $5, I wouldn't, another said. It really depends on the distance, but for me, I end up really close to 50% on really cheap orders because I have an $8 to $10 floor for tips usually, a third added. Others pointed out rising gas prices as a reason why drivers may be more reluctant to pick up further orders with a low or standard tip, regardless of the order's original cost. So, I tip my dashers no less than $10 when I order, no matter what my food may cost. My reasoning, gas alone, a commenter said. However, many users say they've ditched delivery apps altogether due to rising tip expectations instead of opting to pick up from the restaurant themselves. That's why I don't use delivery apps. I pick up or I use the restaurant's delivery, rarely, if they have it, one shared. I've learned I have to tip a minimum of 10 to actually get it delivered. I've switched to pick up because of this, if I can, another wrote. The Daily Dot reached out to Said, I'm sorry if I'm butchering this name, via email, contact form, and Uber via email. Okay, no response. All right, that's it.
So, how do you feel about that? I believe that as someone who has done Uber, DoorDash, and Waiter app, when I look at the dollar amount, you see sometimes from $2.50 all the way up to $25, and you know it can take 20 minutes for $2.50. So if you take that out and you say I'm getting orders just for that, each order taking 20 to 30 minutes, that's essentially $5 to $7, $5 an hour to $7.50 an hour. So I'm not upset with people for not taking it, because people think that base rate that the apps charge is what they're paying for in the tip. No, that base rate is almost split 50-50 between the driver and the people.
I wouldn't even say 50-50 because using...
It's more like 60-40 or 75-25. So the driver get less than that.
Because think about it, like if you order pizza from like Papa John's, Pizza Hut, Domino's, right?
But I'm talking
And
about the
well,
apps
no, hold on.
specifically.
This is what I'm saying, and I think this is part of the reason why tipping is like the way it is. If you order pizza and you get a delivery fee, right? Because
Hmm.
everybody charges a delivery fee, but then Domino's, Pizza Hut, Papa John's will always also ask you, oh, don't forget to tip your driver,
Hmm.
right? So you tip the driver. However, that driver works for one of those companies. They're getting a standard pay. A lot of those
Hourly
people
rate,
get
but
paid.
that's
Hold on. Let me finish what I'm saying, and then we'll make full circle. A lot of those drivers get paid a standard rate. So like it might be $10 an hour, $12 an hour. So regardless or not, if we're tipping, they have a steady paycheck, right? Because that is their full time job. When it comes to like Uber Eats, DoorDash, Waiter, all of these other delivery type apps and services, these drivers one are not getting a standard hourly rate. At most, you're getting like a baseline on the orders that is coming from the companies, but that baseline may be like $1, $2. If you're lucky, like maybe $3. So if you don't tip those people, but they're spending, like you just said, 20 minutes round trip to go get your food and deliver it to you.
sometimes not even round trip, just one way.
I mean, yeah, so like let's just say round trip right now, right? If you're spending 20 hours for this one delivery with a person that did not tip and they're
You
only
said 20
making
hours, you meant 20
20
minutes.
minutes, sorry, for somebody that did not tip, like one, like, the people putting out gas, they're using their own cars, this is time. So in that 20 minutes, just for your order, they're making somewhere between $1 to $3 an hour, or the $1 to $3 on your order. And if they do that 3 times in a row for that 1 hour, they've only made at most $9. And that's not counting traffic. That's not counting if your food gets held up at the restaurant, anything like that. And so, quite honestly, if they're doing that all day, it really defeats the purpose of
Yes.
them even driving to, like, do this. Because for a lot of people, it's not their full time jobs, but for some people, it is. But regardless of all of that, the tip is important for the drivers. Now,
Hmm.
on the other hand, as a customer using these services, I understand the frustration of having to add that tip because Uber Eats, DoorDash, Waiter, all of them charges that delivery fee. So if your food for a meal from McDonald's costs $10 and then they charge you $6.99 for a delivery fee and you want to pay a tip, like now your $10 McDonald's meal is now costing you $20 to $30.
Well, but just like the person said in there, that is a luxury service. You always have the option of getting up and going to do it yourself. Like they said at the end, I opted to forego the apps
Mhm.
and get it myself.
Mhm.
That is your best choice because this is someone who's doing something that you don't want to do. So I get it. Some people, they may be sick, they may not have a car, so they use these services.
Mhm.
But in general, most people have a car, they have a means and a way to do it. Or think about it, you could just cook yourself. You could
I'm gonna say
cook
this.
yourself.
I'm
And you know what? And if you're really feeling real generous, when you get done cooking and you eat the food, you pull a $5 bill, you put it on the table, and you collect it yourself and put it back in your pocket.
I'm gonna say this because I'm all for doing stuff for yourself. Like if you don't want to pay somebody else to do something for you, because like whether it's like getting your food delivered, even going to a restaurant,
It's a
like you have to
service.
pay for these services. Like that's part of the service that's being offered. However, with that being said, when it comes to cooking yourself in today's times, I feel like so many people are running 1,000 miles per hour all the time. They really genuinely just don't have the time like they used to.
Well, you
Like
can I
I
jump in? Let me jump in. Let me jump in. Let me jump in.
go ahead.
If you look back in history, they didn't have the technological advances and they were running just as hard with less and doing less.
Well, they like
Working harder and doing more with less and still making time to put food on the table.
no. It like I'm saying as a society, right? Because way back then, before our technological advances that we have now, even though people were working harder for less, so to speak, they still had time for downtime, time for leisure, time to properly rest, time to recover from the hard work that they've been putting in. Like in today's day and age, if you think about,
I would have to respectfully disagree
okay, well,
because you had those like in the 90s. even though it was technological advance from the 50s and the 60s, they still put in 10 to 12 hours a day. Still found time to put a meal on the table in the morning and afternoon for their kids, and still go to bed, get some rest, and they have like an hour at most of spare time.
But see, the difference between the 50s and now, when you had more stay-at-home mothers,
Yeah, that's why
primarily,
that's why I
you
didn't
also
include that.
had you also had other family members
But I
who
said
would
the
help
90s.
out even in the 90s. Because, I mean, as 90s kids, were your grandparents not involved in helping to raise you? So if your mom and dad had to work, you were at a grandmother's house, a uncle's house, a auntie's house,
Yeah, but
somebody else was usually available to help out.
that has to go with your family dynamic.
Well, no. That was like not individual families. That was as a society. More often than not, these were the norms. In today's times, most people, even you could be a close knit family, the vast majority of people do not have that same type of support, even from the 90s.
And in my opinion, I'm not saying this is fact. This is my opinion, and the reason is because people are so touchy about their kids, they won't even allow other family members to discipline their children. I'm not talking about whooping. I mean like actually correct them for doing something wrong. So people aren't as willing to help you with your children when you're not allowing them to correct them. So think about
So, I mean,
think
but
about think about I'm trying to use, think about that one child in your family who mom or dad will not allow you to say anything to them, no matter if they're tearing up a house, screaming in a restaurant. If you try to correct them, they get upset. Think about that one person. It's always at least one person.
okay, but even with all of that, my point in saying all of this is that because of our, like, where our society is today, right? A lot of people are doing everything, within their own household, and they usually don't have any other outside support. So when it comes to cooking, especially like even as a two-parent household, if both parents are working, like they may not have time to always cook. So getting, like, food delivered or having these services available, heck, even at work, a lot of people get food delivered to work. They just don't have the same amount of time in a day because society expects us to always stay busy, to always have something to do, to always do that. So, like, you have to find ways to try to manage your time, your effort, everything. So, I mean, I can understand when somebody says, I don't have time to cook, or if I cook, I can't do that, because now you're having to prioritize what's more important, and or to try to like find alternate ways, to do it all.
Well, that also goes to effective time management. A lot of people do not know how to manage their time.
Okay.
From individually also comes to a work home life balance. A lot of people
don't have those.
A lot of people don't know how to.
I will say that they don't know how
because we have a standard 8-hour workday for most, 12 to 16, depending on your job. Not every job follows that guideline. I get it. Most jobs, though, however, do follow that. A lot of people take their work home. Not everyone is in a career, but a lot of people have a job. Those who have career and that are salary, a lot of time they take their jobs home. That's i.e. teachers. So while they may physically be at home from what hour to whatever hour, they're mentally unavailable because they're thinking about what they have to do the next day and the day after that. They're also thinking about the current day's work, and they still have a family to attend to. So understand that even though they may physically be there, they may not be able to do it because they're preoccupied with something that happened that day or that's coming up. And I'm using teachers because most people can understand that. I know it's other careers that are just as busy, but I believe most people can understand that. So I'm not arguing against you. What I'm saying is effective time management and learning how to disassociate yourself with your job when you're at home is something that a lot of people have to learn to do, myself included.
Okay.
So I'm not arguing against your point. I actually agree with it wholeheartedly. I just believe that people have to learn how to. So Hazelnut, did you have anything you'd like to add?
With all that being said, is that I feel like to a large degree, with the time management and all of this other stuff you were saying, I understand it's important. However, I feel like American society has for generations groomed us to be like, if you are not working and giving your all 100% of the time, then that's not the right answer. So with all of these people bringing work home, even from just jobs, we as a society has been groomed to think that that's the right answer. And of this whole movement of quiet quitting, where you're just doing basically the bare minimum, like what you're paid to do. If you're paid to work your 40 hours a week doing XYZ, that's exactly what you do. So when you are off of work, you're off work and you move on. And I, for one, do not blame people for that, because so many people are going above and beyond all the time, for jobs that are not going to promote, for jobs that are not going to raise prices, their pay, for jobs that will replace them tomorrow if they decided to quit today or die today. So, I mean,
Damn, that's grim. Quit today or die today.
job.
They decided to die today. Really? So they just said, you know what? I think I'm gonna die.
But you get my point. So with all that being said, when it comes to how people choose to do these things, when it comes to time management and things, it's not that they don't know how to do it. It's just like what is reasonable for them. Because at the end of the day, we all have bills to pay. We all have, responsibilities and whatnot. And we have to make the best decisions at the time, for our lives. And people can only do, what's right for them. Everybody's lives are going to be and look different. That's all I have to add to that.
Hoo-ha, got you all in check. When I come into your house and you break your neck. You know that song?
All right, so you can decide to die today. I'm just kidding.
Oh, man. You know what? Y'all, if I wake up dead, y'all know who to come look for, right? Because she's put up some voodoo on my hoodoo. All right, you guys. With that being said, don't forget to... What the sign in the corner say? I can't read it. My glasses ain't working. What that say over there?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Can you read it? My eyes ain't
I
working.
ain't got my glasses on today.
Oh, man. I'm getting old. So it says, follow if you aren't already. You know what? That's a great idea. If you aren't following us, you should follow us on YouTube and all the podcasting platforms.
I'm fat right now. Oh, look at that.
And again, if you have any topic ideas, please email us at chocolatehazelnut112@gmail.com. And if you aren't already, like, comment, subscribe, and share.